Jeremy, why don't you give people kind of an overview of Now, Next, Later? Because I know in the advertising blurb that we had released, it's kind of turning things on its head or making people think about things in different ways, which might be a little theoretical for my taste, but it seems right up your
Yeah.
alley. So go ahead and explain what you
Well,
meant.
well, I know that you and I always go back and forth, and I get accused a lot of being sort of too philosophical at times when I'm writing into the commentary or jumping on shows and panels. But one of the things that is really important to me that I felt as a in-house counsel for mortgage companies when I was on the legal side, as a product development, innovation, housing policy person at Rocket Mortgage and at other startups was how transactional the industry is. We know it. It's part of the DNA of the industry. It's a transactional industry. But when you're making decisions about growth, strategy, and technology, it's impossible to make the right decision with a transactional mindset, in my opinion. So when I talk about now, next, later, from a practical perspective that you're saying, what are people going to get out of this they can actually use in their business besides just being challenged on thoughtful questions about what's going on in the industry? To me, it is how can I actually think holistically about short-term decisions that have long-term implications? So now, next, later is kind of the technology speak that I started using when I was trying to help clients or my own development teams understand, hey, we're building this right now to solve this problem. It has to be able to do this and this because here's where we're taking the business. Here's where the business is going. Here's what consumers expect. Here's what our business partners expect. So when we're explaining requirements or product parameters to a development team, when we're bringing in a startup that is supposedly got this brand new way of thinking about the world or the brand new way of building something, how do you translate that back to an incumbent organization that's been around for 30 years, 50 years, 70 years, cranking out mortgages every day and say, here's how we're going to do this now. Here's where we hope it gets to in its kind of phase two. And then what does later look like? What are we actually building this business to do? Is it, are we just hoping to do 100 loans a month for the rest of this organization? Or are we actually trying to build something that grows? And so for us, our audience is going to be, executives that have to make really critical decisions that return on the investment in the short run, but don't lose sight of where they're trying to take their business or where they're trying to take the industry. So now, next, later for me was a reaction. A lot of people say like maybe crawl, walk, run. Probably hear that a lot in technology or in our business. I prefer now, next, later. And that's what we're trying to do for housing finance. And we're going to start with mortgage, title, and real estate.
So the thought would be that we will have rotating guest hosts excuse me, yeah, panelists with you for rotating topics. I think it was John Lawless on innovation, Kristen Meshley on trends, Sasha Stair on hot topics. Then you were going to do some form of This Mortgage Life with James Moran talking human interest stories, unless you're assuming I'm going to fill in. But that's kind of the cadence that we're going for. Did you want to hit on any other housekeeping or administrative notes before I actually make you get practical with an example of now, next,
Sure.
later?
Yeah, so I like how you said that. So actually, for folks that want to plan ahead, Sasha Stair is going to be on 3 Mondays a month. John Lawless is going to be on 1 Monday a month. And Kristen is going to join us intermittently, probably also with me and Sasha one. So one of the things you can count on is you can count on Now, Next, Later every Monday. You can count on me every Monday. And then you will see Sasha most of the time, and you'll see John's voice, Kristen's voice. I think you'll appreciate that. That means you get product innovation, you get some of the VC startup world, you get a lot of product development, go to market on digital products and consumer experience. Obviously, Kristen's on with you on mortgages with millennials. So we're going to get a lot of millennial and Gen Z conversations as well. So that's for those that joined today. Thank you so much. This is what you can expect. This structure that we're talking about, and happy to take questions, and we'll hope drive towards like you said, really practical applications of these trends. So everything from whether I should make an investment in this type of technology or that type of technology, I think is a really important one. But what does that mean to your business, and what does that mean to consumers is where the action is. So it's one thing to make a decision. It's another thing to actually have it mean something to your team members or clients. And I think that's where I find excitement.
What have you learned from past shows that you've done that the audience really likes, or ways that you can be better? I know this was kind of like a first episode. Let's proof
Yeah.
out some things, see if there's any gold there that can be mined. But what are you hoping for in terms of what you bring or what you can give the audience?
Yeah, one of the things I'm hoping for is a lot of the podcasts that I watch, especially in our industry, bring a lot of real-time conversation on the topic of the moment, the topic of the day, but it's relatively unstructured. So where I said earlier, I want this to feel like a conversation. I want the audience to be able to rely on, we're not going to go all over the place every single week. We want to do a thoughtful discussion on the one topic of the day in the context of where it is today, where it's going next, and what you should expect or think about. There should be challenging questions in each of those that help you think differently and make better decisions, but we don't want to be following the crowd. We want to be setting our own tone for how does this technology, policy item, or trend, how does this grow over time? How could you think about it? So we're going to try to do kind of one main topic every Monday. And the structure would be, where is it today? What can you expect it to evolve to? And where should we really be pushing this industry long term each week?
Well, I'm writing all this down so I can remember to plug it. Where is it evolving? Do we have a topic for today, Jeremy? I'm filling in last minute. Maybe you told me a topic, but it was lost in the mail on the way here. What do you want to talk about?
Well, the one thing that Sasha and I had discussed in preparation for this a little bit was, why does now, next, later work as a structure? Could you actually use that as your product development structure as you think about making decisions? So today's goal was not to pick on a POS decision or pick on an LOS decision or pick on credit vendors or something like that, which we do anticipate would be the types of topics for future episodes. It was more important to us to say, when you're in a business that I've heard described as changing a tire on a moving bus, I've heard it described as open heart surgery in a tent in the desert. I've heard it described as, one person said, performing surgery on a person jogging down the street. And those are all weird, but effective imagery for saying your business is in flight. You have real world data from your customers. You have real world money flying around to closing tables and back and forth in your servicing book. It is very difficult to create an implementation plan for new technology or any new idea, product idea, new hire, to try to integrate that in a way that's effective. So today's topic, Robbie, was just more why we defend and believe that now, next, later is the right way to look at your decision making for your product prioritization, for your roadmap, for critical decisions that are coming up. I'll give you an example of something that is like hot topic on other shows that you asked about and other panels, and that's AI. Mm-hmm. Now, next, later does not anticipate that in a 45-minute episode on a Monday, we're going to cover AI as a huge topic. What we would actually look to do is say, when you start the process of making a decision, what are the considerations for your customer service? And we would do customer service on a Monday. May or may not have AI implications, right? So that's kind of where we want to break it down to a level where we get to be that philosophical Jeremy that you know and love. You like the third person or you don't like the third person?
Well,
Sometimes
I love the third
experience.
person. I love the third person. I don't know if I love philosophical Jeremy, but go
Yeah, I know.
on.
So
You're rolling.
I thought you'd be more cringy. I thought it would be more cringy to say say in the third person, but if it's more cringy to say
I've been calling myself the
that.
big kahuna ever since I spoke for the Mortgage Bankers Association of Hawaii the other week.
So that's it right there.
that's
Yeah.
the thing.
All right. Well, good. I'll say this. What we want to do is not lose sight of the strategic decision making and not lose sight of the ultimate benefit that these products have for your team members and your customers. And if we can do that each week, that's what hopefully you're tuned in for. And as you said, we'll give priority to our guests who joined in this first one.
So let's get super meta here, I guess. Let's do the now, next, later for now, next, later. Was that the intention? Am I hearing you correctly?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I still don't have the proper terminology for the way that I should be asking these questions. So I'm gonna be simple. What is the now of now, next, later? Let's start there. This is, and actually I'll add a little color. Thank you to those that tuned in. This is the first show of the what I hope to be the revamped Chrisman media. So you know us as having a daily newsletter. Some of you know us as having a daily podcast. Uh, we also appear on various shows throughout the week. We're bringing a lot of those shows in-house. And so I would like to have a Monday show, which is this, a Tuesday show, a Wednesday show, a Thursday show, a Friday show. You can have consistent content on a variety of topics that are all germane to what's currently going on in the industry, different angles, different very well respected figures from the industry. So we'll have a whole video set of offerings, which will then be made available to you afterwards on YouTube or on the website. We might even do highlight shows at the end of the week. Redesign, and in addition to this redesigned website, a big component is also written thought leadership from some really well-respected people in the industry that I'm excited to bring you on a wide variety of subjects, whether that's regulatory compliance, capital markets, servicing, leadership. The list goes on and on. Some really big time originators talking about their processes. I'm fortunate that my dad, to a huge extent, and me to a lesser extent, have a large Rolodex of people in the industry that we can reach out to and have come on and talk about things. So I'd like to add a lot of value back to the industry with some of the content offerings that I'm providing
Sure.
in not a salesy way, in a very much like this is the central hub of where mortgage should be discussed, and this is where the real thoughts are, versus kind of having this Wild West on LinkedIn sort of thing. I want a much more coherent place for it, and not a pay to play space either. Actual stuff from people that I value versus companies that say let's pay you a bunch of money and we want to write a guest column for you. So, with all that being said, Jeremy, how do you view this show as fitting into that overall strategy that we've discussed over the last couple months here?
So right now, the industry is struggling with the onslaught of technology, and there has been, we all admit, resistance to technology trends in this industry. We still have customers and clients and business partners using paper. Even to my degree, like I think PDFs are out of date, but we still have PDFs flying around everywhere in this industry. It's the primary way of documentation and communication between customers and between, loan sellers and loan servicers and that type of thing. And so I think the now is, we know that will not last with the rate of change as it has been. What does that mean for your business? How are you thinking about some of that? But it's also happening in the context of like a pretty major cultural and economic change as well. Like we're just reading every morning. This morning, I was reading another article. We're 5 million houses short. Now, everybody's read the article that some people say it's 3 million, 5 million, 12 million houses. It doesn't matter. The point is, between an interest rate environment that is unlike what we've seen in 15 years, combined with this cultural and economic moment, you have to make a decision, not just about what next year looks like, but what investments are you making to build for the future, in a future that you don't know what 3 to 4 years from now will look like, but the decisions you're making today have lasting implications. The decisions we made in 2021, 2020 to do or not do things in the onslaught of COVID refis are having ripple effects today. So what we're trying to say is, like, let's not fight the last war. Let's look at what we didn't do and let's actually do it now going forward. And that has been a struggle. Executives don't want to do that. Boards of directors don't want to take risk. And so as a result, innovation, progress, cost reductions have all been exceptionally slow or non-existent in this industry. So right now is about identifying the moment. Next, we want to say,
Oh, no, hold on.
okay,
I'm going to let you armchair quarterback here. And
okay,
hindsight is 2020, so we'll give you the benefit of sounding like the oracle of origination. The oracle of origination, that could be you. If it was 2020 or 2021 and we were having this show, how would you have advised people in leadership positions to plan for the next? What would you have said? And like I said, hindsight's gonna be 2020, so you're gonna list a bunch of things that sound like, oh wow, they should have done that. But I don't know if you would have done it at the time. Anyways, go ahead.
how to make purchase feel as much like refi as possible. When we did refis, when they were flying in, almost felt like streamlines to a degree because it was so easy to convince the consumer to do a 2.75 30-year fixed. We didn't do anything at the time to say, no matter where this data is coming from, no matter how this data is coming in, we can actually make a refi feel like a pre-approval, for instance, so that when all of them go away and all we have is pre-approvals, how are we doing those in a streamlined fashion, in a data-first fashion that is as quick as a refinance? And then from there, digitizing, because we know refinance customers said, why do I have to go to a title company office to meet? Why can't I just close this loan digitally? Why can't I just close this loan online, right? So taking that same mentality, whatever you did to pre-approve or get the refi customer to clear to close, apply that same knowledge from clear to close to loan delivery, and then take all of that and make purchase feel as close to that as possible. We didn't do any of that. So now we
So you
still
can say that you can say the exact same things today that companies should be doing. Wow.
that's what
Good
so
job.
and we've even had
And in 3 years, be the same. Yeah.
We've even had startups come into the industry as purchase-only mortgage lenders, right? To me, a startup as a purchase-only mortgage lender is a great indicator, a data indicator, that that's how bad the division between refi and purchase workflows are inside of lenders, that a whole company has stood up to challenge the industry just doing purchase and make their whole business about that. So like that would be Tomo, but that would be an example of somebody who said this division of labor and technology is so bad, we can just beat them at just doing one of those things. So those are kind of the ways I've been thinking about this problem.
So I have been a poor host here. I've allowed us to split onto two parallel tangents almost. Do you want to talk the next for now, next later? Do you want to talk the next for the industry?
I want to talk about next for the show.
All right, go for it.
Because I want the show to say, how do we bring in what we know about consumer data and consumer experience from other industries that should inform your business? So as we think about what consumers expect to feel, expect to be able to see, expect to be able to use, that's communication tools, that's finance tools, and that's real estate tools. What are we seeing from tangential industries that clearly are adjacent to mortgage and title that say we should adopt that? We should see the work they've already done. I heard a great comment recently that McDonald's has about 1,000 economists on staff, and they're always looking for exactly the right market at exactly the right spot to put a McDonald's. Burger King has one economist. They just watch what McDonald's does and they copy it, right? So the idea is, why should we in real estate, mortgage, and title try to go through the process that's expensive of rediscovering what consumers want or the consumer experience, when consumer technology companies, consumer finance companies, and home services companies with consumers, Amazon, others, those three places have already done the hard work, have already done the innovation. We need to understand what works best in adjacent categories and adopt it before we have to do all the hard work.
So I'm trying to think about things from the crawl, walk, run perspective, matching that up with now, next, later. So when the show is up and running and going, what is the later?
And then, yeah, and then I think the later that gets me excited is, what could this mean to our communities? So where we have customers, what could this mean to the American economy? And what could this mean to housing in the American economy? So actually saying, if you do this, you will be well positioned in your community or in the market. If you're a 50-state lender, if you're a digital provider, this is what this could mean to everyone. This is how you sell your value, not just to your business partners, but to the entire ecosystem. I truly believe that housing is an underappreciated economic development engine for this country. We talk about it all the time. It's like, we're serving the American dream. We are job creators. We've got this role in GDP, but it's actually, I think, becoming even more than that, which is when you create jobs that create houses and you finance houses for better, faster, stronger, for lack of a way to put that, you actually create economic activity for the whole community. Small businesses benefit, your neighbors and schools benefit. And so we actually have to think about this, I think, more fundamental to driving economic growth for everyone, because right now it's too stagnant and the transaction costs too much for people to feel like we can get the type of social mobility that we believe benefits everyone long term. So I think driving at things like that for the later piece helps, especially executives, be able to talk to the media, talk to boards, talk to business partners about how you see your business fitting in to something that could revolutionize your community.
So I should let people know that have tuned in for this call. And once again, a big thank you for coming on to our first show and discussing some of the theoretical aspects of it. We're going to stay on for 5 more minutes. We're going to log off at 10:30 Pacific, 1:30 Eastern. So Jeremy, I kind of want to close by you talking about you. You know, this is your show. You lobbied for it. You
Yep.
have it. How should people view you as a mainstay on the show? What do you want people to see or take away from hearing from you?
It's funny that you joked earlier about me, thinking different, asking people to think differently or challenging people to think differently. I've definitely had that experience inside big corporations like Rocket Mortgage, inside little startups. And one of the things that I hope is that I can create influence. My role today, full-time, is an advisor and a consultant. I'm looking for platforms. I'm looking for partners. I'm looking for like-minded entrepreneurs to build these solutions, to work together. When I was at Stabby, a fintech startup based in Boston, working on the digital closing, digital loan delivery process, that was one thing that was really clear to me. There is no one company that comes in and revolutionizes this. Google did it to a degree, Amazon did it to a degree, and I think we lose sight of all of the other pieces that are necessary in heavily regulated industries. We're not looking for our one savior company to come in and lower the cost for everybody. I just don't see it. What I see is identifying who has technology expertise and the experience to come into a heavily regulated industry and make it better. So for me, the excitement, what I hope you get is you get that holistic view of the entire ecosystem that gives you the advice you need to make decisions that aren't just in a vacuum today for transactional value, that are actually meaningful to evolve your business to the next level and will contribute to what we believe is the future here.
Very good answer. And Alan, I should say I appreciate you chiming in the chat. Hopefully, good luck going forward means you'll be coming back and not leaving us like, good luck, guys, off you go without me. I appreciate you being here. Jeremy, yeah, we got about 120 seconds left. Any closing words to the people or to YouTube? Your legacy is now living on forever in the form of a YouTube video here. So what's your parting message about the show and or me or whatever you want to talk about?
One of the things I decided a long time ago would just be my thought process going forward is answer well to the question, answer well to the challenge. And one of the things I like about it in the now, next, later context is when we're at work every day, when we're making decisions, there are micro decisions all day, every day. How long you take to reply to an email, how you reply to an email is actually an answer well moment. It's a micro moment. And how we make these decisions about whether or not we're really going to commit to things. So my parting thought is something I tell boards of directors that I kind of want everybody to think. When I talk to boards of directors about how they want to make decisions, one of the people they always bring up as their hero is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett created wealth, long-term value investor, looked at the fundamentals of business and bought businesses based on the fundamentals. And then pause, a decision will come up in front of that same board 10 minutes later, and they'll make a short-term transactional decision and really sabotage the long-term value of that decision. I'm like, guys, you just said you worship at the feet of somebody who looks at genuine value in the long term. So we're going to do that. We're going to look at genuine value. We're going to celebrate and we're going to elevate long-term value-based decisions here. And I hope that is what you see next episode, next Monday. See you then.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all joining us for this first one. like I said, you'll be in our hearts for forever. We will see you next week. Please come back. We're gonna have
Sasha,
actual content with Sasha rather than me talking about what the show is going to be with Jeremy. So hopefully it provides some real value to you. If you enjoy it,
thank you, Robbie.
reach out to people in your network and have them join too. So thanks, Jeremy. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.